and I miss her all the time. Her passing has torn me and my family apart as well. And she truly was a joy.
An outrageous statement from Stephan Sterns, the man who's now entered a plea agreement for the murder and sexual abuse of Maddie Soto.
Sterns, how do you plea to first-degree premeditated murder in 24 CF 1293?
No contest.
I look at the shocking plea deal that allowed Sterns to avoid a possible death sentence and the painful words from Maddie's dad. Welcome to Crime Fix. I'm Angenette Levy. Stephan Sterns, he's finally admitting to it. He is changing his plea and admitting that he sexually abused and murdered Maddie Soto, that 13-year-old girl, the daughter of his ex-girlfriend. Sterns' case, it was supposed to go to trial this week, but I bet you he saw the writing on the wall. The evidence was overwhelming, and he knew he had no defense. It was all on camera, the sexual abuse. The case out of Florida is beyond disturbing. Maddie had just turned 13 when she disappeared in February of 2024. In fact, she vanished the day after celebrating her 13th birthday with her grandparents. Here's some body camera footage of Maddie's mother, Jen Soto, reporting her missing to Kissimmee police in February of 2024.
So my daughter was dropped off close to school this morning, but never made it. I went to pick her up from school.
I'm sorry, one second.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
Are we looking for another kid or we have a kid?
Looking for another one.
Alright, so people are still on the scene, let's put that out in the possible location. How long?
13.
I'm trying to get there right now.
Absolutely.
Okay. So she was supposed to be dropped off at school, didn't make it to school.
Didn't make it to school. I went to pick her up from school today,
Okay.
and she never came out. They announced it over the speaker, and I'm just like, maybe she walked here, because sometimes she'll walk here to this office. I came here, nothing. I went back to the school, they were closed. I got a notice, an email from the school saying she was absent, but I also messaged her teacher, and he looked at her entire attendance today and saw that she was completely not at school today either.
Okay.
So she never made it.
Okay. What's her name?
Madeline. Madeline.
Madeline.
Now, as Jen Soto is reporting Maddie missing, Stephan Sterns is in the background. You can see him. And the entire time, police and prosecutors will now say he knew exactly where Maddie was and said nothing. Hours later, police interviewed Sterns, and he said he took Maddie to school that morning and everything was fine.
She's got this phase that she's been into lately where she's very particular about what car she's seen getting out of in front of the school. She prefers her mom's car, but my cars are, I guess, kind of hoopties. I get it. It's an image thing. But that was sometime probably between 8:20 and 8:40-ish, somewhere in there. It was along this stretch of the road that on the right side that has all the communities on it. Before you get to the overpass. You could see the overpass from where it was. So it was on that side, on that stretch of road, and that's where I dropped her off. She said she was going to go wait for her friends. She was going to go find them and hang out and wait for her friends. And I asked if that was going to be okay. She said, yeah, it's fine. Kids get dropped off early enough as it is. It's not totally unusual for that to happen. It's just not usually that early that I drop her off. I do school runs every once in a while for her. I said, okay. Let her out. Have a good day. Love you. Thanks. Love you too.
Now, the entire time, Kissimmee police say Sterns was lying, and he never dropped Maddie off at school that morning. In fact, they say he had killed her and drove around in his father's car that day with her dead body, first in the passenger seat, and then he moved her to the trunk of the car. Sterns actually gave his phone to police so they could look at it, and he claimed he accidentally factory reset it that morning. Accidentally. On the Google Drive connected to the phone, they would later say they found 1,800 images of Sterns sexually abusing Maddie, and that it had gone on since she was about 8.5 years old. Detectives questioned him on the 4th day of the search.
Do you have a Google account?
Yeah.
Do you save pictures to your Google account?
Sometimes.
Or is it automatically? I know sometimes phones sync to a cloud and
think it backs up to Google.
Here's where I'm going to be brutally honest with you. There's your phone. And I'm pretty sure you know what some of those pictures are about. You're a very intelligent person. And I don't want you to discredit yourself by saying you don't know about all the pictures that are on your phone. You understand what I'm saying? So do you want to add to the list of pictures?
Should I be talking with a lawyer right now?
I can't answer that question. My sole purpose right now is to see if I can find, and I'm really hoping you can help me.
Okay. Well, I'd like to try to help, but I feel like I should probably have a lawyer present at this point.
So you're wanting an attorney?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
This all led to Sterns' arrest, and prosecutors would later charge him with more than 60 counts of sexual battery against Maddie and possessing child pornography. The next day, Maddie's body was found on a farm where someone had reported seeing Sterns' silver Lincoln that Monday as he changed a flat tire. And Sterns was later charged with murdering Maddie. The state attorney of Orange and Osceola counties decided to seek the death penalty. The trial on the sex crimes charges was scheduled to begin this week. Before word of the plea deal broke, I spoke with former Palm Beach State Attorney Dave Ehrenberg about the case, and I told him it really seemed like this sex crimes case seemed like a slam dunk.
I do think this is a slam dunk. And I know as prosecutors, we know the only thing that's predictable about juries is that they are notoriously unpredictable. But they've got the goods on this guy. They've got the first trial where he's going to go down for child pornography. It's 60 images on his phone, and his best chance was to get those images suppressed, thrown out. He said that the law enforcement officers did not have a warrant when they got the images from his phone, but they got the images from his phone because he, Sterns, gave the cops the phone. And so we thought it was somehow going to get him out of this problem, but he's not the smartest guy in the world. And so the cops got the images, and this is a strict liability offense. There's really no defense to it. If the images are there, you're done. They're there, he's done. And this will set up nicely for his September trial for murder because they can then use the conviction against him. I think it will be conviction on all counts, and he'll get essentially life in prison. They're going to use the conviction against him in the penalty phase of the murder trial to ensure that there's a good shot he gets a death penalty.
And I was going to ask you about that because a lot of people have come to me and asked, why aren't they pleading this out? I mean, it seems like they have him dead to rights. I mean, the allegation is that Stephan Sterns sexually battered Maddie Soto for years. I mean, years. And that he had a Google Drive connected to his phone. There are photos, I believe in some instances, videos, like 1,800 images, which just, the ick factor and the skin crawling factor on this is so disturbing and disgusting. It sounds like they've got the goods on him. Yes, he's innocent until proven guilty, of course, as any defendant is. But maybe his attorneys don't even think about a plea deal or asking for a plea deal because they know it can be used as an aggravating factor. A conviction can be used as an aggravating factor in that penalty phase in the murder trial later this year. Do you think that's why there hasn't been any, at least publicly, we don't know of any discussion about a plea deal?
I think that's one of the reasons, indeed. Also, because this case is so high profile and because of the ick factor, as you mentioned, then I'm not sure that prosecutors even offered any deal that really could be considered by the defense. I mean, the only deal would be life in prison.
So right there, that's likely why this plea agreement came together. Sexual battery of Maddie Soto would be an aggravating factor that could be used in the penalty phase in the murder case for prosecutors to ask for a death sentence for Stephan Sterns if he were convicted of the murder. And in Florida, it only takes 8 jurors to vote for a death sentence now for it to be imposed, not a unanimous 12. So on the eve of the trial, we find out that Stephan Sterns has decided to change his plea from not guilty to guilty on the sex crimes charges and on the murder charges. That was going to be a separate trial.
Mr. Sterns will be entering a plea in the 693 case, the counts 1 through 20. The state will be under counsel on all process 21 through 60. The center might concurrently with the 1293 case and adjudication appeal SCE live concurrent, and then additionally as a
Thank you.
Then Sterns changed his plea, but guess what? It wasn't a guilty plea on the murder charge. Take a listen.
So the plea form indicates that these are first-degree felonies. These are actually either capital offenses or punishable by life offenses. Do you understand that, Mr. Sterns?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is anyone forcing you or pressuring you into make the decision to resolve your case this way?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone made you any other promises other than what has been presented to you as the agreed-upon sentence?
No, Your Honor.
Are you under the influence of any alcohol, drugs, or mental issues that cause you not to understand the decision that you are making?
I am not.
Do you understand if you are not a United States citizen, that entry of this plea would subject you to deportation proceedings?
Yes.
And if you ever before had been convicted of a sexually violent or a sexually motivated offense, entry of this plea would have subjected you to involuntary civil commitment at the conclusion of any incarcerative sentence. Do you understand that's the state of Florida law?
Yes.
Ms. Smith, do you have any competency concerns regarding Mr. Sterns' fitness to accept this plea agreement?
No, Judge.
Ms. Borden?
No, Your Honor.
Then came the change of plea for the sex crimes against Maddie.
Sterns, how do you plea to first-degree premeditated murder in 24 CF 1293?
No contest.
Sterns, for whatever reason, was allowed to enter a no contest plea. That means he's not contesting the first-degree premeditated murder charge, but he wasn't forced to utter the word guilty when it came to Maddie's murder.
And as to counts 1 through 8, capital sexual battery of Maddie Soto while she was under the age of 12. Counts 9 through 13, sexual battery of Maddie Soto between the ages of 12 and 18. And counts 14 through 20, lewd or lascivious molestation. How do you plead?
Guilty.
Then the assistant state attorney read a statement from Maddie's maternal grandmother, Yolanda Sobrano, who threw that birthday party for Maddie the last night she was alive.
I stand before you with a broken soul. I am Madeline's grandmother, but to her, I was not grandma. Madeline always called me Mama. She decided that since she was little. And that's how I felt with her, like a second mother who loved her with all my heart. Madeline was a happy little girl. She loved going shopping with me. That excited her so much that it felt like everything around us turned into color. I remember her face lighting up when we went to the stores. Holding hands, laughing together in those moments, we connected, and I felt like she knew she was loved, protected, and valued. At night, we loved to play. It was in those moments, just before bed, that she laughed the most. Sometimes it's hard for me to close my eyes because I still hear her laughter. It was free, sweet, and sincere laugh. A sound I will never forget as long as I live. But that laughter was silenced by a horrific act. The very man who betrayed her trust, her innocence, her body. And if that wasn't enough damage, he took her life. And with her, he killed a piece of our souls. Since then, life has never been the same. Our family is empty and broken. There are days when the pain is so great that I feel like I'm drowning. And every time I think of everything she could have been, everything that was stolen from her, it hurts even more. Because Maddie wasn't just a victim. She was a little girl with a beautiful future, with a unique light, with so much love to give and receive. Today I am here because Maddie can no longer speak, but I can as her grandmother. As someone who loved her, With all that I am, I come to ask for justice for her memory, for everything she lived through and should never have lived through. Justice so that no one else has to go through such a horror. I will never forget Maddie, her voice, her laughter, her eyes, her dreams. All of that lives in me, and so it will live forever. My beautiful girl, one day we will be reunited and we will never be separated again. I love you with all my heart. Thank you for listening to me with deep pain and eternal love.
The assistant state attorney read a statement from a former roommate of Jen Soto's.
I ended up living under the same roof with a man who took a life of a 13-year-old girl, and with that shattered an entire family. What is the point of having dreams, plans, and opportunities if there is no life? If there is so much evil in the world? How can I explain what I felt and how this has affected me, especially considering that this same man took nude photos of my body without my consent, violating my privacy? I felt invaded, outraged, degraded, anguished, and absolutely shattered. I constantly think that my life was in danger too. I could have died. I am also a victim. And the only reason I'm here to write this is because God is great and I know I'm under his protection. This has affected my emotional, physical, and financial stability. I haven't been able to live with strangers ever again. Right now, I rent an apartment by myself. I pay it with all my effort just to feel safe and at peace. If I already had trouble trusting people before, now it's even harder. I can't imagine even handling a neighbor too close because it gives me anxiety. I tried to get psychological help to move forward, but this is something that will forever remain in my memory and continue to affect me deeply. To this day, I wish I could wake up and realize none of this ever happened, that this was just a nightmare. I wish I could still be spending time with Maddie, making her arepas with cheese and butter like she loved, and practicing our languages together. Me learning English and her learning Spanish. I'll never forget the words she always told Jennifer. Mommy, I would love to learn Spanish so I can talk a lot with Angelica. I think about all the time, and I wish it had been me who spoke English fluently back then. Maybe she would have opened up to me about the hell she was going through with that horrible man. I want justice for Madeline and for all the girls and women who have lived through something similar. I want him to pay for all the pain he caused her and the beautiful family I love with all my heart. I send all my love to the sky to Madeline so her soul may find peace. Angelica.
And then came another statement from Stephan Soto, another relative of Maddie's.
This vile and heartless crime has not only affected and traumatized my family, but so many other families as well. It has also impacted her friends, all of those who knew her, as well as the whole community. There are nights where I can't sleep, nights where I wake up gasping for air, haunted by what Maddie must have gone through. I am consumed by grief. I carry such an anger that it eats away at me on a daily basis. A depression I never thought was possible. The emptiness touches every moment of every day. And everywhere I look, I see her. I hear her laugh in my memories, and then I remember she's gone, and it destroys me all over again. To know what Maddie went through and how terrified she must have been is unbearable. The thought of her suffering haunts me. The cruelty of what was done to her will never stop echoing in my mind. I asked the court for something that I know I could never really have. Justice. Because real justice would mean that Maddie would be here with us and not you. You still get to wake up every day, something you cruelly stole from her and from us. The way you discarded Maddie as if she was nothing and her life had no value is a true reflection of your evil. The suffering you caused her should be given back to you tenfold. You do not deserve peace. You do not deserve mercy. You deserve to carry the weight of her pain every single day, just how we will carry it for the rest of our lives. And let me be perfectly clear. Where you go after this life will not be where Maddie is. She is in a place of peace surrounded by love. You, on the other hand, will never know peace. You will never see her again. You're not going where she is going. You're going to hell. Thank you, court.
Maddie's father, Tyler Wallace, also spoke, and you can see his pain. He lives in another state, and he could not protect his daughter.
I was not able to be in her life as much as I would like to, due to circumstances and choices I've made, due to the way finances worked. I was strained in my relationship with my daughter, and that was finally getting better. The last time I saw her was in October of 2023, and she had come to visit for a few days. And when I took her back to the airport, I said, you know, you're turning 13 soon. When you turn 13, you have a choice of which guardian you're interested in staying with. Would you like to stay with me and talk to you? And she said yes, that she would. And so I was this close to having my little girl, sir. Because of the actions of this depraved man, I will never meet the woman she was becoming. And I can't grasp it. I can't grasp the selfishness of you, the deplorability of your actions. You're depraved. You're weak. You're a coward. You're a sneak thief. You crept into a family and took advantage and exploited them when they were weak. It's torn my family apart. It's led to arguments about who can go where and who can get what and who can help who, but we're all on edge because it doesn't heal with time. This isn't like other deaths that I've experienced. This just gets worse. It just gets worse every time I rethink about it and the true horror of what this man visited upon her. And I can only hope that he lives a long time in prison and has those same horrors revisited upon him by his fellow inmates. Thank you.
And then in a moment that still has me shaking my head, Stephan Sterns had the nerve, the audacity to make a statement.
I agree that it's not fair that Madeline is not here anymore. I still have a hard time contemplating a world where she's not around, a world which feels less vibrant and less colorful than it did before. I have prayed to God countless times to trade places with her, to take me instead. But unfortunately, that's just not how he works. I have nothing but sorrow for her loss, and I miss her all the time. Her passing has torn me and my family apart as well, and she truly was a joy. I pray to God that she is in heaven and that he's taking good care of her. And I hope she gets to join the choir because she had a beautiful voice. I will miss her all the time. I will never not honor her memory. And I apologize for all the pain.
It's truly unbelievable. Stephan Sterns, he didn't take responsibility in that statement for Maddie's murder at all. Now, many people had questions about why the state attorney would allow Stephan Sterns to plead out when the state had such a strong case against him. State Attorney Monique Worrell issued the following statement. It read, "I want to extend my deepest condolences to the Soto family and everyone who loved Madeline. Her life was stolen in a senseless act of violence, and the pain of that loss is immeasurable. While nothing we can do can bring Madeline back, I hope her family finds some measure of peace, knowing that justice has been served. The individual responsible has been sentenced to 21 concurrent life sentences and will never walk free again. He has also waived all of his rights to appeal, ensuring finality and sparing the family from reliving this trauma in courtrooms for years to come. Our office conducted a meticulous review of this case, and every step we took was in close consultation with Madeline's family. This outcome reflects their wishes. It holds the accused fully accountable while also protecting the family from further anguish. We remain committed to seeking justice in a way that centers victims and honors the lives that are taken far too soon." So Stephan Sterns walked out of court a convicted murderer and sexual predator who will never and should never walk free outside of prison walls again. He can never victimize another child the way that he did Maddie Soto, the girl Sterns abused for years, the girl who is now forever 13. Think about that. She wasn't even 13 for a week before a monster took her from this earth and threw her away on a farm like trash when he was done with her. This case should serve as a lesson to all. Know who you are allowing to be around your children and protect your children and cherish them. And that's it for this episode of Crime Fix. I'm Angenette Levy. Thanks so much for being with me. I'll see you back here next time.